That's a bit of an insight into the changes that have gone on with the Pegasus 37. Hi folks, I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. It's great to have you back. We are back today with another shoe review, and a shoe review that we've been excited to bring you for some time now. But just before we start, we just wanted to say if you're a subscriber of the channel, then thank you very much. Your support is really appreciated. If you're not, why not hit that subscribe button, come along and join the forever growing Run4Adventure family. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get notified when we upload any new content to the channel. Right, back to today's review. The shoe we're looking at today has been a bit of a challenge to get hold of, if I'm honest. I don't know whether it's down to more people are running and more people are interested in running shoes, but it seems to be getting harder and harder to get hold of new and exciting models of running shoes when they get launched, especially if shoes have been hyped. And believe me, this shoe was definitely hyped. I find it a little bit frustrating at the moment with a lot of the new releases. They get released in the States way before they become available in the UK. I don't really know why this happens, but it is frustrating, especially when you've got a YouTube channel and you want to get hold of them shoes and get your feet in them and get testing. So this time round, I came up with a cunning plan. So the shoe we are looking at today is a Nike shoe, and it was due for release in the UK on the 1st of June 2020. I'd gone on the Nike website and actually noticed that the ID shoes, which are shoes you can go on and design yourself, were actually available at the end of the first week of May in the UK. So I thought I'd go on, I'd design my own shoe. Yes, it's going to cost £15 more to do that, but I thought it was worth it. I can add a few personal tweaks, plus I'll get that shoe nice and early before the official launch date in the UK so we can get in it, test it and review it for you guys at home. A great idea, I hear you all say. No. I'd totally forgotten about all the hold up in production and delays to delivery because of lockdown and COVID. So the shoe was about a month delayed. It actually turned up in the UK about a week after the official launch date in the UK, so it was very late. I'd obviously paid £15 for that privilege to get that shoe late, but also when I went on and configured the shoe, I'd played around with lots of colours and designs. I wanted to come up with something really eye-catching, and I chose this really nice, bright, go faster red. It looked really cool on the shoe. Unfortunately, when it arrived and we unboxed the shoe, that lovely, cool, bright red colour was actually a really weird, like flesh salmon pink colour. Nothing like the colour on the configurator, Nike. Come on, what's going on? So, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, I give you my Nike Pegasus 37. God, it's terrible. Really sorry for the long intro, guys, but I just wanted to clear it up that Nike weren't responsible for this awful colourway. But I suppose in a way, by the colours showing up wrong on the configurator, they were kind of responsible for it. But anyway, let's get stuck into this review. The Pegasus 37 is a neutral road running shoe that is steeped in history at Nike and in running in general. The 37 means this is the 37th version of this shoe over the years, so you could say it's gone through quite a lot of development, and the latest version has had a lot of new upgrades compared to previous versions. So let's give you a few facts and figures on the new Pegasus 37. The shoe retails in the UK at £105 RRP. Weight-wise, in a men's shoe it is 285 grams, and in a women's shoe it's 235 grams. It runs on a 10mm offset, so we have 24mm on the heel and 14mm on the forefoot. The shoe is available in 4 different colourways for men and for women. So one of the biggest changes when it comes to the Pegasus 37 compared to the previous version is the shoe now runs off a full React foam midsole, so a really big change there. We still have the Air Zoom unit, although it's twice as big as the previous version. And an interesting fact about that Zoom Air unit is the men's shoe runs on 20 psi, whereas the women's runs on 15 psi. When Nike were developing the shoe, they realised that a lot of men preferred a slightly firmer ride under the forefoot compared to women who wanted a slightly softer, plusher ride. So when it comes to the upper of the shoe, the upper is constructed from this very light, very thin, very translucent outer mesh, which is designed for increased ventilation and breathability. We've then got this very soft internal mesh in the shoe. Also internally, we've got this very thin gusseted tongue to adapt to different foot shapes and to give you a very specific hold around that midfoot. When it comes to the laces, there's no sort of standard lace eyelets. We've got these little Nike bands to, again, increase that hold or pull around the midfoot. Heel of the shoe, we've got quite a different shape on the heel cup of the Pegasus 37 compared to previous versions. Again, we've got this little flare on the heel to try and cut back on any aggravation on the Achilles tendon. And also staying at the heel, we've got quite a different shape on that midsole in the heel section of the shoe. So we've got this sort of fin shape, very similar to the Pegasus Turbo or the Nike Next Percent. That's a bit of an insight into the changes in the construction of the Pegasus 37. I've put about 50 miles into the shoe and I am a Pegasus virgin. Believe it or not, I've never run in a Nike Pegasus, so I really didn't know what to expect from this shoe. I'm a massive fan of React cushioning, so I was hoping for good things. So let's go through all the great things that we've loved about running in this shoe and maybe some of the things that we didn't get on with when it comes to running in this new version of this iconic running shoe. The first thing we definitely need to talk about when it comes to likes of the Pegasus 37 is that initial comfort and feel straight out the box. First run I did in the shoe was about 10 miles, and having never run in the Pegasus, I didn't have any idea what to expect, but it was a very comfortable, plush place to be on that first run. I was surprised how soft the shoe felt internally. This internal fabric is very, very soft and comfortable around the foot. The tongue being quite thin, I was a little bit worried and concerned about that thin tongue. I shouldn't have been. Again, I didn't feel the laces through that thin tongue at all. And when you take the insole out, you've actually got a really nice, thick, deep, cushioned insole in the shoe. So it actually works as a really nice sort of soft footbed on top of that React cushioning in the midsole. So again, very comfortable underfoot. When it comes down to the upper and the fit and the feel of the upper, again, this very light translucent mesh feels lovely around the foot. You don't really notice it, to be honest. It's very, very breathable. Width and fit of the shoe, again, nice width in the toe, good depth in the toe box, lots of wiggle room, especially when your feet expand over distance. Having that internal gusseted tongue, you know, I love having that midfoot band in a running shoe. It gives you that really specific fit and hold, really easy to lock down as well with them laces around the midfoot. The other thing, the shoe's not overly cushioned or padded in the heel cup, which I actually like. I don't like a shoe that's too bulky when it comes to cushioning. And again, you've got this little heel flare just to keep any pressure off of that Achilles, which is a nice touch. So when it comes to that initial comfort straight out of the box and the fit of the shoe, the Pegasus 37 definitely ticks all the boxes. The next thing we need to talk about is the ride of the shoe, and I love the fact that Nike have crossed over to a full React midsole in the Pegasus 37. Anyone who follows the channel knows I am a massive fan of this compound from Nike. I think it makes a great compound and a great midsole in a road running shoe. I've run in quite a few Nike shoes with the React midsole, but I was really surprised how this version of the React compound was so springy in the Pegasus 37. You then throw in that Air Zoom unit running at 20 psi in the forefoot, and you've got a very comfortable, very bouncy and very responsive shoe. Even at slower pace, you know, some of the slower runs I did, the recovery runs, it's very comfortable, it's very plush to be bouncing along in the shoe. But then in the runs where I upped the pace, up the tempo a bit, the shoe really did come to life. You know, you had a nice level of snap off the forefoot, level of pop off of that Air Zoom unit, and it really did feel like I was getting a bit of energy return from the shoe. The last thing we're going to talk about when it comes to likes is the breathability and the comfort of the upper in the shoe. Using this very light, translucent outer mesh that I think has come from the sort of Nike Next Percent technology, you get a very comfortable, lightweight, breathable feel of that upper. And it really doesn't feel like you've got a lot of upper around your foot, which is always a nice touch in a running shoe. You then throw in that internal, very soft, plush mesh, and it is a very comfortable, very breathable place to be when you're out running, especially on longer runs. So there's been lots of things that we've liked about the Pegasus 37 and lots of surprises along the way. You know, it was really a shoe that I thought maybe I wouldn't get on with, and I have really, really enjoyed my time and my 50 miles in the shoe so far. But there is a few things that we feel with a little bit of tweaking, it could make this shoe feel and run even better than it has already. So let's go through the things that we haven't quite got on with when it comes to the Pegasus 37. The Pegasus 37 runs off a 10mm offset, and I know heel offset is a super personal thing. For me, I spend a lot of my time in, sort of 4-6mm heel offsets, and that tends to be the heel offset I go for in a running shoe. So I did notice that 10mm offset on a few runs, especially the longer runs. Maybe when I started to fatigue a bit, I could just notice maybe I was putting a bit more weight or load through the heel. I personally think if the shoe heel offset was just taken down even a couple of mil to say an 8 or a 6mm, I think the shoe would just become maybe a bit better at crossing over to a bit of speed work, a bit of tempo work, that quicker pace stuff. I think it'd become a bit more responsive. Obviously, it's probably never going to happen. I don't think Nike will change the heel offset from a 10mm on the Pegasus. I think it's always been a 10mm, so I don't think it's going to change. Also, when it comes down to weight, 285 grams again for me and my road shoes. It's quite a heavy shoe. To be fair to the shoe, that weight is distributed very evenly. So it's very well balanced for a running shoe. So it's not heel heavy or anything like that. So it actually runs a bit lighter than it actually is. So it's not a thing that put me off the shoe or running in the shoe. I just think, again, if you could shave 10-15 grams off it, this version of the shoe actually went up in weight, which I'm never a big fan of. So I think if you shaved a little bit of weight, again, the shoe would just become a lot more responsive, and it might run just a little bit better than it does already. So that's an insight into the things that we've really loved about the Pegasus 37, and a few of the things that we feel maybe need a bit of tweaking but didn't put us off the shoe at all. But as you know, at Run4Adventure, we like to score product and we like to score shoes. So let's get some scores on this new neutral running shoe from Nike. First thing we're going to score at Run4Adventure is always price. The shoe retailing at £105 RRP in the UK, I personally think is a pretty good price for a shoe that's had years and years of development, lots of money put into it, lots of testing. It's a really well put together shoe. It's a shoe that's going to cross over to lots of aspects of your running, whether it be long, slow recovery runs or a little bit of longer tempo work. It's still quite a responsive shoe and a very comfortable shoe. So I think when you put all that together for what you're getting for £105, it is an absolute bargain, this shoe. It really is. You'll get hundreds and hundreds of comfortable miles out of it, that's for sure. So we're going to have to score it high at Run4Adventure. So we're going to give it an almost top scoring 9 out of 10. Next to score is comfort and performance. And like I said earlier in the review, I've been really surprised how comfortable this shoe has felt and how well it's performed. Being a Pegasus virgin, I really didn't know what to expect, and I've been really surprised by the shoe. Whether it be on the slower recovery runs, it's been very comfortable. I love the feel of the upper, it's so plush to be in that shoe. But then when you up the pace and you start running a bit quicker, the shoe does come to life. It's very bouncy, it's very responsive, and running quicker does feel quite easy in the shoe. There's no carbon plate in it or anything like that, but you do feel like you're getting a bit of snap and a bit of pop off of that Air Zoom unit in the forefoot. So I think with a few little subtle tweaks, like we said, a little bit less weight, a little bit less heel, this shoe would have got probably top marks, but it's still going to come in with a super solid 8 out of 10 when it comes to comfort and performance. Number 3 on the list is durability, and from what I gather, the Pegasus has always been a pretty solid workhorse when it comes to durability. I don't think you're going to have any issues with this shoe over mileage. Always a hard thing to score durability after only 50 miles, but we have found doing the 200 mile reviews that if there's going to be any durability issues, they tend to show up after 50 miles. The shoe looks like it hasn't been running. No fatigue on that upper, no stress at the flex points. The outsole rubber holding up really well to their miles. So I think you're going to get lots of durable, comfortable and enjoyable miles out of the Pegasus 37. So we're going to give it a really good performing and a solid 8 out of 10. The last thing always to be scored at Run4Adventure is looks. We know it's super subjective. It's such a personal thing when it comes to colorway of a running shoe. What we're going to do when it comes to scoring the Pegasus 37 is we're going to score their production colorways. So it comes in 4 colorways for men and for women. I personally think they're a little bit safe. I'd like to have seen some brighter colorways. I like bright colorways on my running shoes, just not these colourways. I think they've been safe. There should have been some brighter options, and I'm sure there will be over the coming months. I'm sure they'll have some really cool designs when it comes to the Pegasus 37. I'm personally quite a big fan of the blue colourway in the men's. It's quite a strong look and a strong colourway. So we're going to give it a really positive 8 out of 10 when it comes to looks. I think if we were scoring this version, it might have just stretched to a 2 out of 10. So tallying all them scores up for the Pegasus 37, it's going to come in with a really strong Run4Adventure 33 out of 40. So let's wrap this review up with a quick conclusion. Like I said, I'm a Pegasus virgin, so I really didn't know what to expect. And I've been so surprised about how comfortable and how well this shoe has performed. It's really blown my mind, to be honest. I wasn't expecting a lot from it, and it has given me a lot. Every mile has been very comfortable. I've been so impressed at how comfortable that upper is and how breathable the upper is, and internally how comfortable it is. How great having that React midsole. You know, I love React cushioning. Never really run with an Air Zoom unit in a shoe before. Super impressed how it gives you that snap and pop at quicker pace as well. I really can see myself spending a lot of comfortable miles in this shoe. Definitely recovery runs I'll be using this shoe, and maybe in some of the longer sort of tempo work or long marathon training runs. Again, I think the shoe would perform really well in that environment. So if you're a neutral runner, or if you're new to running, you're looking for a neutral shoe, I don't think you could go far wrong with the Pegasus 37. Or if you're a runner that's been running in a lot more stripped back shoes, and you're looking for a shoe that's going to offer you a real comfortable, plush place to be, but still feeling quite fast and responsive for your longer training mileage, then the Pegasus 37 definitely ticks all of them boxes. A couple of things I will mention. I'm quite narrow in foot shape, and this shoe fits my foot like a glove. I always thought the Pegasus was quite a wide shoe. I don't know whether that is the case, but this is definitely not a wide shoe. It's quite snug. So again, if you've got a lot of width to your foot, maybe there's better shoes out there for someone who carries a lot of volume in their foot shape. And the last thing is stability. You know, this is definitely a neutral shoe. You've got a very soft React midsole, and you've got this very narrow heel counter on the shoe. I've seen it a lot with some of the Nike shoes, especially the Pegasus Turbo, which is a very similar shape to this. If you're not quite neutral in your gait, or you're quite dominant or heavy on a heel strike, this setup doesn't really work. It makes you very unstable in the shoe, and the shoe just collapses immediately. But if you're a neutral runner and you are very stable in your gait, I would definitely recommend getting out there and checking out a pair of Nike Pegasus 37s. It really has surprised me. That is a wrap on another review at Run4Adventure. Really hope you enjoyed it, guys, and found it useful. If you did, give us a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. We've left a link in the description if you want to find out any more about the Pegasus 37 or about Nike as a running brand. Please click that link. Comments, guys. I really want you to get involved. I've never run in a Pegasus, so I've got nothing to compare it to. I'd be really interested to hear your feedback on how you felt about the new version. Do you find it super comfortable, really responsive, a nice place to be, or are you disappointed in it compared to some of the previous versions? So get them comments down below. Also, guys, don't forget to get involved in the great big running goodie giveaway. We did the competition on the Salomon S-Lab kit review. We've got some awesome prizes to give away, and the competition is going to be drawn at the end of this month. So go along, check out the details, and get in the pot to win all them great prizes. But as always, a Run4Adventure. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for your support. We will see you next time, and stay safe and keep on running. Oh yeah, I forgot, YouTube is quite a magical place. Oh, that's a better colourway. See you next time.